Hey, welcome to the recap edition of the Influential Personal Brand Podcast. Rory Vaden is here, rolling solo again. We've had some weather challenges around town, and we've had a crazy time trying to get coverage for the babies. And so Mama CEO AJ is off helping manage a million things. And so I'm solo on this recap edition, but this is an important one. Bob Glazer is the episode that we're breaking down. If you didn't go listen to that, make sure that you do, because Bob tells the story and talks about the story that we know we should do. We hear about it. We kind of know intuitively, if I'm going to build my personal brand, I should write more, and I need to write, and I'm not writing enough, and I'm writing, but I don't like it, and it's not working. And he tells that story about why it matters, and you can't hear it. You can't hear it enough. I mean, it's just about impossible, I think, to build a personal brand without having to, at some point, master the written word. I mean, even if you are a video personality, like even if you're a TV personality, there is at some point comes along in your journey where it's like you have to write a book. People want the book. That you're writing articles, you're writing copy, of course, for your emails and for your website and marketing copy. But I think the idea of writing articles and just the power of the written word is so important, because one reason is because of Google, because of search engine optimization. The written word can be indexed and searched and shared and reviewed quickly and highlighted, and you can go to specific points. Like you can't do that with videos. It's really hard, without going, hey, go watch this video at minute 1, minute 7, a second, 38 seconds in, right? Like people don't do it. And Google and the search engines don't yet fully index and, track. And it's just not the way of the digital world. So the written word is really important. It always has been important. I think it will always be important. And Robert is talking about how you can use the written word to grow your personal brand. It is free traffic. It is trustworthy reputation building. I mean, to this day, when people say, Rory, how do I become a speaker? Like, how do I get hired to speak? Like, how do you get these gigs where you're standing on stage in front of all of these people? I want to do that. How do you do it? It's very simple. I always tell them that it has never changed. The number one reason that people hire you to speak is because they have seen you speak. That is number one, right? We talk about all of that in World-Class Presentation Craft in that course, and then also Full Keynote Calendar. Those are our two courses. One is the art of speaking. The other is the business of speaking. Our events, our courses that we teach. But the number two reason, which is why I'm bringing it up here, the number two reason why or how you get booked to speak is because someone has read something that you have written, right? So number one is they saw you speak. They said, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I need you to come do that for my people, for my audience. But number two is they read it and they said, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, this is what I need. My people, my audience, my fans, my customers, they all need to see this. Like, can you come and do it? And so the written word is powerful, and the written word is the currency and the backbone and the spine of search engine optimization, which is like the core of digital marketing, right? And content marketing in the written word. And so this is just important to hear about someone who has built their personal brand mostly from the written word, and it's really powerful. So anyways, here's my top three takeaways for you and for myself, just as a recap, right? So the first one, which is not unique, it's not unique to this interview, and it's not unique to Bob or to me, but you need to hear it. I'm going to say it because we need to hear it all the time, is that it starts by asking, how can I deliver value for my audience? Like, that is the genesis, y'all, of how this works. Is if you are not sitting and soaking and praying and meditating and focusing on how can I create more value for my audience, your brand isn't going to make it. You're going to burn out. You're going to get consumed with all the noise. You're going to get frustrated. Like, because if it's all about you and your vanity metrics and your growth and your money and your, whatever, your sense of fame or importance, like, it's going to burn out. And the written word, especially, I loved what Robert said, where he said, look, I've been doing this for 5 years and I figured out writing rewards the long game. It rewards the long game. That search engine optimization is a hockey stick, right? Like, it's slow, spike. And that's the name of this game. Like, and it's not just writing, that is all this stuff. It's producing your videos on YouTube with 8 views and 12 views and 20 views and 30 views. And it's like, the reason that more people don't make it is not because their content's bad. It's because they give up, right? It's because it's discouraging when you look at the numbers. It's discouraging when you go, gosh, I've been doing this for a year. I've been doing this for 2 years. I feel like nobody's watching, nobody's paying attention. And that is the path. But like, everybody dies on that path in the first 1 or 2 years. There's few people left when you get to year 4 and 5 and 6 and 10. And those are the ones you see and you go, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I want to be you. But it's like the 10 years before, at least 5. I mean, don't get discouraged in year 1 or 2. And people, some of us, like, some of y'all get discouraged after 3 months and you're like, I've been posting videos every day on social media for 3 months and I've got 100 followers. It's like, don't even look until a year has gone by. And this is why being service-centered matters so much. Because if you're self-centered in this pursuit, if your personal brand is really about you, it's really about your ego, it's really about your followers, it's really about your money, it's really about you feeling important and whatever. If it is self-centered, you're going to burn out. Because you're either going to hack your way there and it's going to be fake by doing all sorts of crazy stuff, or it's going to be a slow build and you're going to go, man, I've been doing this for 2 years. I'm not sure it's working. And it's like, if you feel that way, guess what? It's working. Because for everyone else who's been on this journey, they tell the story. You listen to every single episode we do. Like, all of us have the same story. And even for me, like, it's so frustrating because I already paid my dues once. Like, I already went on this journey and then started over, right? So, I mean, we exited a company and there were a number of things that went along with that. But the net impact is I had to start over. Like, I had to start my social media from scratch. I had to start my blog from scratch. I had to start my website from scratch, like, start over. It is painful. And here's what Robert said that I loved. He said, I've been doing this for 5 years. I've still never found a hack. And gosh, that's so important to hear, because I feel the same way. I've been doing this for so long. I haven't found a hack, right? The hack is provide a lot of value for a really, really long time. Like, I know it's not what you want to hear, but you need to hear it. And you need to hear it every single week. And I don't care if it is like one of the top 3 takeaways from every single episode that you hear. We're going to bring it up every time because we know how frustrating it is and how discouraging and how lonely and how empty and how hopeless it can feel and how you can be overwhelmed and just beaten down that, like, oh, I'm putting in all this work. I'm spending all this time. I'm putting in all this money. Does it matter? And and you have to be centered in service. You have to go, yes, it matters, if only to one person, right? Like you have to stay grounded in that. And if you do, it catches. It's a snowball. It's exponential. It's a hockey stick, like it is all of those things. But it starts by saying and staying centered in how can I deliver value for my audience? You got to live in that. You gotta remind yourself of that. You can never forget that. It's just, that's the nature of the beast here, and it's good. It's good for our ego. Like it's good to be reminded, like it's not about your views and your comments and your likes and your engagement and your followers and your money and your da-da-da. It's like, it's good to be reminded of, like, no, I'm focusing on the one person who's going to read this. I don't care if one person watches this video or one person reads this article. Like, I'm doing it for that one person. And I am doing it because I feel called in my life that there is some message inside of me that I feel called to share. And it is irrespective and independent of how many millions of people or how many zeros of people ever see it, because I feel called, which means there is one person out there that needs to see this. And that is why I do it. Not for vanity, not for likes, not for followers, not for comments, not for money, not for any false sense of importance or influence, but because I feel in my heart that there is a message that I was put on this earth to deliver, and I'm going to follow that prompting. And I will do it for as long as it takes, even if no one shows up. That is the commitment that you got to make. And you got to make it as a writer, as a speaker, as a content creator, as a podcast host and producer, like as a video producer, like whatever form of content it is, that you just got to make it. And I'm telling you, like, that is the battle. We have all of these amazing techniques and strategies that we teach, and they friggin' work. Like, they're really, really good, but nothing replaces that. So make sure you stay centered in that. Okay. Very good. My second takeaway, this one I don't like as much. Was that sensationalism isn't clickbait. I don't like this one as much, but it's a takeaway because it's true. This one is also true. This sucks, but it's like, man, there is just a part of this that there's just a game that you have to play to get a hold of people's attention. Like, it's weird, right? To say in this, almost in the same breath as you got to be focused on your audience, which is still 100% true. But it's like to say it, the vanity stuff doesn't matter. And then to turn around and go, you know what? You have to not be afraid of a little bit of sensationalism. I don't like it, but gosh, it's true. It's true. The data is true. It's indisputable. People respond to all that crap. Like they do. It's and here's the way that I wrap my mind around being okay to embrace a little sensationalism, because y'all, I'm resistant to this. Like, this is not me. Like, this is not this is not the way we play it at Brand Builders Group. We're playing the long game. We're bringing value. Our strategy is reputation. Our strategy is trust. Our strategy is ethical and honest and integrity. Like, it is all of those things. And part of that is just going like, look, I mean, I think the way Robert said it, which hit me hard, was he's like, people don't click on the warm cup of tea titles. They don't. Like, they just don't. And the hard part is going, okay, we need to be willing to put out our content regardless of how many people are watching it. But at the same time, it's like, we also have to be doing everything in our power at the marketing game. Like, we have to do everything in our power to, like, communicate truth and honesty and integrity. But we also have to do everything in our power on the marketing game, because there's a bunch of scam artists out there that we're competing against. There's a bunch of negative images. I mean, I would go so far as to say the devil is out there using every tool in his power to communicate false lies and propaganda and trash and negativity. And it's like, we gotta stand up and go, you know what? I'm going to master marketing. Like, I'm going to learn marketing. I'm going to do it. Not because of the vanity for me, but because it's like, if I'm going to change lives, if I'm going to reach souls, if I'm going to impact people, I got to be in front of people. Like, if no one's reading the article, it's not doing any good if nobody's seeing it. Now, I should be willing to do it whether there's one person seeing it or 1,000. That's what I just got done saying. But at the same time, it's like, I also want you to fight and scratch and claw and hustle and go, all right, how do we get in front of more people? Remember the reputation formula. Results times reach equals reputation. Reach matters. Reach matters. So there's no replacing the long game. We don't want to be flash in the pan. We don't want to be gimmicky. We don't want to be empty promises. We don't want to be over promise, under deliver. We want to be substance. We want to be truth. We want to be value. We want to be solid. We want to be honest. We want to be content. But we also need to have good packaging and a good wrapper and good marketing strategy and good tactics and good promotion, because people got to find us. And so when he was saying sensationalism, we're talking about titles specifically, where he said sensationalism isn't the same as clickbait. And here's how I made sense of this. Because clickbait, here's when I think of clickbait, what I think of clickbait as, clickbait is bait and switch. So what is bait and switch? Bait and switch says, click here to see a picture of, Brad Pitt's abs. And then you click here and it's not a picture of Brad Pitt's abs. It's a picture of, it's an article for how to buy my, something. That is clickbait. It's bait and switch. It's, I lure you here with one thing and then I give you something that is other than that thing. It is not that thing. To me, that is really when people say clickbait, it's bait and switch. I do want to give people bait. I want to set a hook. I want to give them an appetizer. The way that I think about it is like when you go through the food court at the mall, they give you a bite of chicken, on a toothpick, and they hand it to you and they go, here, it's a sample, right? So they get you to salivate. They get you, you're whetting their appetite. You're drawing their interest. You do have to do that. And some of that is, he uses the word sensationalism. I hesitate, for me, I'm just so reluctant to take it all the way that far, but maybe I need to be more aggressive. Frankly, maybe this is why my brands, have grown slower than they could have, is because I haven't embraced this. Because it's like, I'll tell you this for sure. There is some other person out there that is not providing as much value, who doesn't have the depth of expertise, who is a lot more slimy and shady and unethical, and they're getting clicks, right? Like, they're getting the attention because they're unafraid to just bait people in. And so that's part of what you're competing against, right? And so the good people, we got to learn to compete here a little bit. Like, we got to be willing to play the game, not in bait and switch, but in bait and deliver. Right. So that would be my theme here, is rather than bait and switch, bait and deliver. But I want you to bait. You got to set the bait, right? Like you got to hook them in. You can't just throw a hook in the water and have no bait on it. Like, the fish aren't biting. There's got to be bait there, but it's not bait and switch. It's bait and deliver. In fact, it's really bait and over deliver, right? That's what we want. Not bait and switch, bait and over deliver. That is what it's after. But you gotta bait. You gotta be good at the bait. Like, it's a necessary part of this. And I wouldn't even say it's a necessary evil. It is just simply necessary that we are battling for attention span. Like, there is a battle, especially the digital world is a 24/7, 365 battle for attention span. And we are in a battle. We are competing for people's attention. And if you have valuable ideas, if you have good ideas, if you have worthwhile products, if you have substance, if you have truth, if you have integrity, if you have honesty, then you have to be willing to fight that battle to get those people over there. What good is it if you have the cure for cancer and nobody knows about it? Not good. You gotta be willing, but bait and deliver, not bait and switch. So sensationalism, meh. I mean, I might not sign off on that and give that the official brand builder stamp or Rory Vaden stamp, but I would sign off on bait and deliver. All right. So do what you have to do to get the viewers and the readers, within reason. But you need to learn how to create better subject lines. You need to work to create better titles, which is my third takeaway. Okay. So my third takeaway was I actually went back through all of my notes from this interview and just, was trying to create a list of great article titles. Now, if you've been through our Brand DNA event, our course, our first course, or you've been through Captivating Content, in both of those courses, we teach something called the 5 title test, which is how to title your products. Okay. That, is kind of similar, but this list is different. This list is for articles specifically. This is titling your blog articles and stuff, which, I also think you can afford to be a little more baity with articles because they're not as permanent as a book title or a coaching program title or a course title, right? That's something like you're going to live with for a while. So, but here's some of the things that Robert